This is the CRL Modified Division. Here for round 15 of 17 in 2009, the last short track race of the year, the Martinsville 100 in Virginia. Holden Roberts has been improving steadily throughout these last few races, and it results in the youngster capturing his first ever Red Robin Pole Award. He shares the front row with CJ Cameron, who showed up in his rental van minutes before the command to fire engines. Cameron, of course, had been missing since last week's race at Evergreen when he had just a nightmarish weekend and crashed down in a heavy way. Elmer Fox, who hadn't driven a modified car in 30 years and had never before driven a CRL-style modified, practiced and qualified the car, put it in the front row, but here's CJ Cameron, like he hadn't been missing for a week, leading the first lap. Lap 3, Robert Klesel in the 63 gets a little bump from Randy Robinson coming out of turn 2. Klesel ends up in the old backstretch pit, tries to get out, but crashes. No caution as he stayed off the track. Lap 8, Tina Lee qualified fourth, looking for her first points since winning at British Columbia in round 6, passes Holden Roberts for second. Same lap, first caution. Tina Lee, Jen Walker loops Mike Lee coming out of turn 2. He sort of collects Gary D'Souza and Kurt Shelton. Not under green very long. Nathan Ferguson loops Ron Mertz coming out of turn 2 on lap 16 to set up the second caution of the day. Kennedy Hugh, driving the 06 for today, makes his return to the series after 7 years. The 01 champ had been injured in a terrible accident at the 2002 event at Grand Detour. Hugh qualified 31st. That's in the last row for today's race, and he's not moving up, so not a good return. He will be driving this car full-time in 2010, though. Meanwhile, here is Ferguson, who started last and has the fastest lap of the race so far, challenging Axel Andersson for 12th spot. Andersson comes into the race today, second in points. Ferguson third. They each have the same number of points, but Andersson has 2 wins to Ferguson's 1. But here's Ferguson knocking him out of the points. Lap 30. CJ Cameron gets caught up behind Carter Lice, and Tina Lee says, "You know what, CJ, if you're not going to lap him, I'll just take the lead away from you and lap Carter myself." And that's exactly what she does. She goes into turn 1, passes the Vermont native for the lead, and laps the Syracuse native Lice. Couple laps later, here is Montana Mosaez passing Azuma Kazayama for 9th spot. Here he is passing, or just nipping at the line, John Hawkes, last week's winner, for 8th spot. Mosaez now has the fastest lap of the race. He qualified 21st, so he's slicing and dicing his way through the field pretty well. Lap 40, here's Alan Musico, the point leader coming into today, who qualified 15th, passing Craig Mummer to the 14 for 4th spot. So Musico beginning to set his sights on the top 3. Lap 51, Tina Lee passes, laps Sean Percy. Meanwhile, Mosaez is caught up to the top 2. He passes CJ Cameron for second on the back straightaway, and at the end of the lap, Mosaez has a look to the inside of Lee coming into turn number 1. So the 54-year-old Brazilian in his first season of motorsport has his fastest car to date. He scored his first point at New Hampshire, led his first lap in the next race at Watkins Glen, and he's about to lead another lap here at Martinsville as he guns for his very first victory. So Mosaez jumping up through the field pretty well into first spot. That's been quite a common theme this year. John Hawkes, last week's winner at Evergreen, as mentioned previously, qualified 8th for today's race. He's in 12th, so it looks like he'll back up his victory with at least 1 point today. Lap 61, Mosaez gets caught up in heavy lap traffic. Lee's going to try and take the lead back from him. Actually, she is going to take the lead back from him, as the outside line today has proven to be much faster than the inside line. So Mosaez caught up behind Alex Neshmary, and Ron Mertz loses the lead to Lee. Lap 63, CJ Cameron takes the lead back from Lee coming onto the back straightaway, and he laps Carter Davids. And it's a timely pass, too, because the third caution of the day comes out on lap 63. No incidents. Brendan Rohde comes out of turn 4 in the 30 and stalls the car with an engine failure. Bottom right-hand corner, you see the flagman pull the yellow flag out. Lap 70, here is Mosaez passing Tina Lee for second. Without any lap traffic in his way, he's free to move around again. Same lap. Actually, this is lap 71 as they have crossed the line. He has a look to the inside of Cameron coming down the backstretch into turn number 3. So Mosaez retakes the lead from Cameron coming off of turn 4. It looks like it's the 54-year-old Brazilian's day, doesn't it? Look how easy he makes that pass. Lap 79, 22 laps to go, Here is Musico passing Tina Lee for second, coming out of turn 4, so the point leader setting his sights on Musico with just 21 laps to go now. And in fact, with 10 laps to go, Mosias gets caught up in heavy traffic, trapped behind the 03 of Chris Winter. He can't lap him. There's Musico on the outside, and he pokes the nose out in front of Mosias coming out of turn number 3. But as they come out of turn number 4, Mosias is going to get a saving grace. Look what happens behind him. Trouble breaks out. The yellow comes out, and Mosias beats Musico to the line for it. So Mosias hangs on to the lead. Now we'll show you what happened coming out of 4. This is on lap number 91. Holden Roberts turns Reed Weber into Nathan Ferguson, spins him out, and there's Kurt Shelton getting involved as well. Carter Lice coming in really late. Weber would drop out of the race. So would Shelton. But Ferguson would drop back to 7th. He would stay in the race. We go green with 4 laps to go, but what doesn't last very long, Alex Neshmary blows his engine coming into turn number 3. He can't get to the pits, and he stalls in turn 4, and that means Montana Mosias, in his first year of motorsport, scored his first point, led his first lap. Now he gets his first win. He wins the Martinsville 100 for today in Virginia. An emotional victory just weeks after the death of his father. What a wonderful day for Montana. Here's a quick flash of the field. There goes Mosias, Musico in 2nd, Lee in 3rd. There's Cameron in 4th, Roberts. Ferguson finishes 7th. There goes Craig Mummert, and here comes John Hawkes, the final points-paying finisher, scoring 12th today. This victory was very, very popular with all of Mosias' opponents. By the end of the day, every single driver, even Elmer Fox, had personally congratulated Mosias in person in victory lane. No bonus points for Mosias today. He doesn't care. He's walking off with the trophy. And here's an interesting stat. When you combine the 42 points that Mosias has now scored with the 16 Felipe Lumpeda scored at Edmonton when he finished 2nd, that's 58 points. That puts the one car 9th in owner's points. Here are the race results. Mosias wins. Musico finishes 2nd and adds to his point lead. We'll get to that in a moment. Tina Lee finishes 3rd. CJ Cameron claims the bonus point for leading the most laps. He finishes 4th. Roberts' bonus point for pole finishes 5th. Randy Robinson finishes 6th, keeps his title hopes alive. Nathan Ferguson, bonus point for fastest lap, finishes 7th. Jen Walker finishes 8th. First time she scored since Charlotte. Craig Mummert finishes 9th. Jay Jannerin finishes 10th. Azuma Kazayama finishes 11th, and John Hawkes backs up his victory last week in Monroe, Washington, with a 12th place finish. Top 15 in points. Now, Alan Musico leads Nathan Ferguson by 12 points now. By the way, the 10 car has claimed a spot in the top 12, clinched a spot in the top 12 in owner's points. Axel Andersson now 3rd, Randy Robinson 4th, CJ Cameron now 5th, Chris Winter 6th in points, Carter Davids 7th, Tina Lee 8th. Sean Percy is in 9th spot, so the top 9 still have a shot at the title. However, Percy is exactly 46 points back. He needs to win both races and capture all 3 bonus points to have any hope of the title. Reed Weber, first driver, out of contention in 10th. Jay Janner in 11th. Robert Klesel in 12th. Landon Rohde in 13th. JF Moreau in 14th. Brendan Rohde rounds out the top 15. Next up, we head south to the track too tough to tame for a race simply called Darlington.